Hey, Wasteland inhabitants, how are you living? I'm Wild Bill. Got Rufus here in the shop with me. He's got some new duds on, man, looking pretty sharp too. And hey, welcome back to Gaslands Garage. It is awesome having you here yet again. You guys keep showing up time and time again, and I appreciate that. Let's talk about putting our rust texture. If you remember back a few videos ago, we made some DIY rust texture. If you haven't seen that, go back and check out that video. Make yourself some of this rust texture and you can follow along with us. Hopefully, if you've made the rust texture, you haven't tried it out just yet, but I'm going to show you how I apply it and basically how all this works out. So this is easy. I mean, this is not rocket science. You're going to be like, are you serious? That's all there is to it? And I'm going to say, yes, it is. Paint your car like a brick colored primer. You know, they have this this reddish brown. This is called satin brown. And, you know, get yourself some of that brick colored primer and just prime your car with that color there. After you stripped it, of course. You know, we don't want to be putting paint on top of paint on top of paint and lose, you know, some of the details that are molded into the car. Let's, you know, allow those to shine through. And so, you know, I've already started applying the rust texture to this car. As you can see, I've got fair bits of it, and you got to work with this bit in stages. You just can't go all at it, you know, the whole car in one shot. Just pick a section, and like this panel here, right, we're gonna work with that bit right there. All right, and get yourself a, you know, load up that brush with the rust texture, and all you do is paint it on, just like that. Now you're gonna say to yourself, you know, is that it? Nope, that is not it. That's just the first pass. I usually like to put on at least a good 3, maybe 4 coats of rust. I'll come back over this once it dries, and I'll add another coat of it, and then add another coat of it. What that tends to do is it gives you a little bumpiness to the texture. You'll also find that you'll get, see how this is forming like this gradient? You know, and you can help that along by adding a little bit of a different tone. This is that you can see, like right here, this is almost an orange rust, and then this is a grimy, greasy kind of rust. The only difference is the way that I packed the steel wool into the container. I did it a little bit more dense and added a little bit more vinegar to this one, and it slowed down the process. And I find that, like, when the process starts to slow down, you get a darker color. You go for a fast process where only a little bit of vinegar and a very loose pack on the steel wool, letting it breathe a lot, and you get a lighter tone. So I've got, man, I ain't gonna kid you here, look, I've got so many different versions of these tones of rust. They're subtle, but they tend to, it's all in how they dry. And I'll show you. Like, look at the side of that jar, right? And then you can see, like, the side of that jar, and then, you know, you get into the side of that jar, and you can see the difference, you know, and that plays into the whole painting of the car. Now, you can see it's only been a little bit, and I mean, it takes a little bit longer for this to dry. It's not as fast as like if you're painting with acrylics, but right there, I mean, it's pretty much on its way. Now, with I'm going to paint some more while I talk to you about this stuff. With this, you don't want to rub what's already been done until it gets sealed up. You need to seal this after it's all dried up. If you don't, it's just going to rub off, as you know, with any friction that you apply to it. So what I use is I use a Tester's dull coat, and I don't think there's any replacement for Tester's dull coat. If you wanted to try just a regular matte, I think you're going to be really disappointed with the results, because matte paints do have a slight gloss to them, and rust isn't glossy. It's just not there. So to maintain this soft, almost suede-like look, you want to apply Tester's dull coat to the rust. That'll seal it in and maintain the integrity of the look that you're after. If you go otherwise, like I said, you're gonna be disappointed. Now, I will tell you this: you want a good 3 or 4 coats on before you seal it. If you apply dull coat like you're trying to cheat and rush this, this is not a process that you want to rush. You know, if you want a good-looking car, put some time and effort into it. If you want a rush job, yeah, go ahead, but you're not gonna get the quality that you know that you maybe have seen on some of like the work in progress stuff that I put up. And I, you know, you're obviously here because you look at some of the pictures I put up and then go, man, I mean, I want to create that. And if I'm going to show you how to do it, you got to do it the way that I'm doing it to get those kind of results. If you want to cheat it, it isn't going to work for you. And then you're going to be like, well, I'm not going back to that site or that channel to watch this stuff because it doesn't work. Yes, it does work. It absolutely does work. But take the time and the effort to put in the details and the quality, and you'll get the results, man. Now, look at that. This is up all just about pretty well dried. All right. So then you come in, and when you apply the next coat, it is going to disturb what you just put on there. That is good, because when it does, you get texture, and you can see that right there. That is like creating that effect of the rust bubbling up. So leave that, you know, don't try to smooth it out. And then again, you're going to come back, you're going to do it again, you're going to do it again. And then apply your Tester's dull coat, a very fine mist. Do not go overboard with it. Do it from a distance so that you're not creating this super thick layer of Tester's dull coat, because that's just not going to be the look that you want. Very, very light coats, and you are going to find that when you apply Tester's dull coat, it will knock down the brightness of the rust. I find that it happens if you don't put the 3 or 4 layers on. It can even start to show this primer color from underneath. If that happens, though, that's one of the reasons why I go with this color here, so that it blends in with the rust and you get a really nice look, even when something bad happens, maybe a little bit. So you know, don't be skimpy with the amount of rust that you put on it. And look at that, you know, once the more you add, the it seems like the faster it dries because the other rust that you put on there pulls in the moisture. Come on, camera. There you go. Check that out. I mean, seriously. That is it's getting it done. So, you know, there it is. That's all there is to this this rust texture. And you know what? I mean, think about this. Not a whole lot of money, and you are getting super fantastic results. You don't have to go out and buy the monstrously expensive paints. You know, paint with what nature gives you. Real rust. You know, it's kind of funny. Somebody said that doesn't look like real rust. They didn't know what I was doing, and they mentioned that, and I was just like, it doesn't look like real rust. I don't know what you're talking about, because it is real rust. So if you don't know what if you don't think that that looks like real rust, you don't know what rust looks like. So man, just experiment with it, have fun with it. And if you got any questions, man, pop them down in the comment section. I will be glad to try to help you out. But you know, work with different tones, and you'll get different. You can actually, now that this is drying even more, you can already see how just applying this in sections and in layers, you're already getting that sort of rusty marbled look between the two areas, right along that crease in the body. So, you know, that's the type of stuff that you gotta, as you do this technique, you're gonna find like little things like that how you work within sections, creating sections along other sections with body lines to get crazy looks like that are just phenomenal. And if you're wondering if you can paint on top of this stuff, because I've had some people ask me about that, look at that. You know, I did paint right underneath the exhaust, a little bit of soot and oil dripping out of those tailpipes. So can you paint on it? You certainly can. So you know, there it is. All kinds of good stuff. Again, I'm starting to ramble with it, so just, man, enjoy it. I'll be seeing you on the next time here at Gaslands Garage. But wait a minute, you gotta wait for it. As I always say, when you're out in the wastelands, playing your Gaslands, maximum carnage, always apply it, because it is your best option. I'm out of here. You have a good one. Be kind to one another. Makes the world a better place. Later.